everyone streaming in, I hope that everyone's been updated that this isn't the ShiftCare HR webinar. The original plan was to do that, but I don't think they were ready to do it. They've been working feverishly on ShiftCare HR and trying to make sure it's looking good. So I'm not involved in ShiftCare HR too much, so I'm not really across what's happening with it. But I think they are planning on announcing a date that they're going to do that. And this is the last of my series of product spotlights. I don't think anyone's taking over this series after I leave next week. So, and hello everyone. Hey Jeffrey, hey Bree, hey Tanya. I thought for the last one this week, it might be nice to just do a Q&A. This is your last chance to ask me anything you want to ask me and talk about anything you guys want to talk about before I finish up at ShiftCare next week. Hey everybody. Lots of regulars here. Cool. Yeah, feel free to use the Q&A if you've got a question that you really want to get answered, but I will try and monitor both. So yeah, let's go through that. This is me. I thought I'd do a little plug. Get your camera out if you want to, because this is what I'm doing as of the 1st of August. It's going to be my work. So I'm going to be focusing on automation and tools and obviously like training. And I think I'm even doing I know I'm doing a thing where you can sign up for a monthly like support with me, and I'll jump into Zoom sessions with you and help you get the most out of ShiftCare ongoing every month. I've also got a couple of tools that I'm working on that you'll have access to as well. So yeah, feel free to scan that and just keep me in mind or reach out. My email's on there as well. Happy to have a chat with you and see how I might be able to help you. Thanks, Heidi. The code doesn't work. Great. That's a fail. Did I forget to save it actually? Now that I think about it. Let's just say, let me put it into the chat. It's just a link to my website, paulslaterconsulting.com. This is me trying to do 10 things at once during the day. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit sad to be leaving. I do love my job, but it was time for me to try my own thing. So I'm kind of excited to try that out, and I reckon I'll be able to help a bunch of people. So yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. Who knows? I might be back. You never know. Never say never. So sorry that scanner's not working, but yeah, it's just paulslaterconsulting.com. Cool. Let's have a look. Let's have a chat. Thanks, Christine. I think they're not going to be doing either of the webinars either too, so I'm not too sure what's happening with that. I'll probably end up just doing my own webinars through my consulting business and trying to keep everyone up to date myself, and I'll try and keep myself up to date as well with what's happening on ShiftCare, and I'll do my own little webinars. So we'll see how that plays out, because I do enjoy chatting with everyone and keeping everyone up to date. Okay, so interested in a bit more of a walkthrough of shift costs, where to link information from Xero. That's a good question, Libby. I believe that it's just using your initial Xero settings. So when you set up Xero, you obviously have your pay groups and your allowances synced. So it's grabbing those pay items from Xero, and it's using those. That's really as complicated as it is. Really, you shouldn't have to set anything up. Having said that, though, if you're finding that the information isn't showing you correctly, please let us know, because obviously when we launched this, we tested and we used our own accounts and everything. I wasn't involved in this, but I think that there's been a few different scenarios where the numbers aren't showing as we expected. I know that the guys are looking at making sure it looks at the pay template of the staff member, not just the pay item that's in, because obviously you can have a price in Xero on the pay item, but it's what's on the employee's pay template that's the one that you're going to actually pay. So there may be some variances in that, but they are aware and they're working on that. But yeah, Libby, I'd be interested. Are you finding that it isn't showing the correct numbers that you would expect? Let me know, but or everyone actually, I'd love to know in the comments how they're finding the Xero. Uh, yeah. Appreciate your confidence, but it doesn't work and no one knows how to fix it. Is that the Xero costings? Shift costings aren't appearing for me yet. Is it still being rolled out? Yeah, it is still being rolled out, so it's not on for everyone. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm running out of time to try and get involved in everything to get it working, but I'll Maria, if you email me your account number, I'll ask the dev that's working on it to find out why it's not working for you. I have seen it is working. I've seen it is working on a bunch of sites, and there are a couple of quirky things. Like if you click and drag shifts, it suddenly reports double. Like if you move it between staff, but in general, I think it is showing some good information to people. But yes, moving very quickly, you're right, and isn't fully working, you're right, maybe. I don't think we have our HR properly linked as we had Xero before ShiftCare. Um, yeah, HR is a separate matter altogether. I have a question about medication. Why would it be available if it doesn't work, just like ShiftCare HR? Yes, that's a good question. Above my pay grade. I'll let Matt talk about that. I mean, yeah, like I said, it does work on some, but yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna try and weasel my way out of that. I don't know why. Interested a bit of a walkthrough of shift costs. Yeah, we just did that. Well, we kind of did that. So you've got your revenue, your costs, and your margins up here. This only shows to the account owner. It doesn't show. Well, actually, I think they updated the roles now that you can decide who can and can't see that. So if you go to roles and you click on a coordinator thing, and then I think down here there's like a financials now. You can set whether when it's full access, they'll be able to see it just like you can see it now with dollar values and everything. If you set it to limited access, it essentially is like there's just the colors, like, hey, this is green, this is orange, it's really low margin, or it's red, it's below margin. Um, and then off obviously is no access at all. So now you can decide whether or not they see this top part now, or the dollar values at least. And then on each shift, they've got now a section here for financials, and obviously I haven't got it paid out. I haven't got it linked up in my webinar account, but yeah, it'll show you the breakdown of the cost of the shift. They do have PayCat coming soon, which is going to have that employment hero link, which in my mind is much better because that's based on the actual Shads award, not just your Xero pay items. So yeah, we'll have a look. Is there anything happening with the ShiftCare scheduling screen to stop the lack of freezing, or is it just my PC? I don't know. So the schedule screen to stop the lack of freezing. And again, is that like you mean the headers up here? Um, I the issue here is that if you scroll with your mouse on this side, it's going to drop it down. If you scroll with your mouse on inside, it's not going to drop it down until you get to the very end. But yes, I don't know of any plans right now to address this, but it is, yeah, when you say freezing, Marty, do you mean that the whole schedule is freezing or that it's not keeping this header up the top here so that you can actually see the dates? Because yeah, if you scroll with your mouse up and down inside the scheduler, so when your mouse is over the calendar, it will keep the dates at the top. but if you scroll on the left-hand side, it will reduce it down. But yeah, I'll raise it again. I will click on a shift and wait for it to load. Oh, so you mean that things are slow, and the team have been working on the scheduler to try and improve speed, and there's a lot of things overlapping. And they did add, by the way, there is a new performance mode under the fortnightly here that you can click on. So check that out, because it will definitely help with speed, but it does sort of simplify the scheduler as well. So it may not be a mode that you love, but it certainly can be useful if you're just doing a quick squiz on a few things and you want to check it over. It definitely loads a lot faster when it's on that. So you can see that's loading quite quick now. So check that out as well. But the team are continuing to work on performance and making sure that the schedule is not crashing and things like that as well. Lately, there are a lot of concerns with ShiftCare, especially with unavailability, as it does show sometimes and doesn't at others. Also, multiple shift bookings. Sometimes it doesn't show unless you refresh a few times. I don't know about the unavailability not showing and showing. I guess all I can say to you guys is, please continue to raise it through support, and if you're not getting anywhere, ask to escalate it, and the team will escalate to engineers and do that. Support's very slow. Yes, they're struggling at the moment to keep up. Also with the price guide update and all the questions we had, in one day we had 600 chats in a single day, which was unheard of at ShiftCare. So it's very difficult for us to keep up with that many chats all of a sudden. Certainly this month has been a challenge. I won't deny that, but yeah, they're struggling, but they're trying their best, and they will. Also, why can't you drag shifts anymore? It works for some shifts and not for others. So you should be able to connect to drag any shift that isn't an overnight shift or a shift with multiple staff or clients. That's always been that way. So if I try to drag this shift, it should work. But if I were to try and drag a shift that I don't even know if I have one that's an overnight shift, but yeah, you can't do sleepovers or group shifts. Um, yeah, a lot of the chats were about the price guides though and stuff like that. Let's go through some of the questions in the Q&A. When exporting the timesheets from ShiftCare to Employment Hero, the location is not showing on Employment Hero. It just shows default. How can we fix that? So that should be set by a couple of things. So in Employment Hero, you've got to set up obviously your locations up here you go to dimensions first, and then you go to the parent location. So you choose the level that you want it to sit in under the in the Employment Hero side, and then on the right here is what am I mapping it to within ShiftCare. Usually facility or shift type is the most common two, and then you sync that, and then you do that, and then you've got to make sure when you're exporting the timesheets that you're ticking enable client location tracking. If you do both of them and they're mapped, it should put the timesheets on those locations. If that's not happening, put through a support ticket, but I haven't seen that not work in the past. How are organizations managing staff profile/access? Carer access does not allow staff to read all the information on the client's profile, only access previous shift notes and completed shift notes. Also interested to know how staff message clients at the beginning of a shift. Staff are doing this via web access, not the app. Carriers should be able to see almost everything on the client's profile through the app now. They should be able to see like the need to know information, public information, general information, risks, medical history. There's an AI summary as well that will read their previous shift notes as well. They should also they can see previous shift notes, and they can put in shift notes. So that should be like for carers, that's all the level that they need. They should be just on carer or /staff access, and that should be all they need. If you're finding that they can't see some information, reach out to support or to your success manager and have a chat with them. Unless you're missing something. I'm not too sure. Is anyone else finding that staff can't see certain things? Um, yeah, they can see care plans, tasks, and goals, but they can't see I mean, that's the most of the care plan. They can't see the focus areas, though. That's the part that they can't see. Um, but yeah, if you're finding, yeah, what are they not seeing? Our staff don't get the AI summary option. I've seen it once on a staff. Um, I do believe, Patrick, that, and I did raise this with the devs, that I think you have to have generated an AI summary at least once on the client in their profile in the admin area before it'll show to carers on the app. So it might be worth just going through the clients and clicking on generate once, just so that there's one there that exists. I believe that's a current limitation of that. In terms of not being able to see that information on the app, carers cannot see anything other than the previous shift notes and are able to complete notes for their rostered shifts. They should be able to click on the client, like when you when you open up the app, it shows you the location and then it's got like the client's name there. If they click on the client, they should be able to see everything about the client in there. So give that a go. But if they're not able to see that, then let us know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have been told if people can't see any of that. How does ShiftCare NDIS training modules work? Is it the same as NGO training, same courses? It's the same in that it's an LMS. Marty, just make sure they update the app if that's the case, because they did add risks. It should be there now. I think it may only show things that are of high risk, but they should be able to see risks info. Does the NDIS ShiftCare NDIS training module work? Is it the same as NDO training, same courses? Yeah, so it's it is the same in that it's an LMS system, but definitely not the same courses. I think NGO has a huge range of courses. They've been in the game for a long time. There was talk in ShiftCare of us adding a bunch of courses. I'm still waiting to see that, but I think at the moment it's like 24 courses in ShiftCare. I'm pretty sure NGO is over 100 courses, so it's certainly not the high level that NGO has, but it has. There is a list if you speak to your customer success manager. You can email cs@shiftcare.com, cs@shiftcare.com. That is the customer success team, and you can say, I don't know who my customer success manager is, but I want to talk to someone about the NDIS training modules and I think they call it certifications. Someone will get back to you there. And thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I thought it only displayed things that are of a certain level with risks. Because it is a big list, like of the risks. So the idea is show the ones that are relevant to show to the carer. This might be a dumb question, but I'm the account owner, and on my account, I cannot see the revenue cost margin feature that you were showing before. Do I need to turn this on somewhere? I think they've been rolling it out to accounts on like they're doing an extra, like every day is like 10% of our users are getting access to this feature, so it hasn't been fully rolled out yet. They do that just in case there are issues with either the feature or the load on our servers and things like that, just to make sure they're gradually rolling it out. So yeah, if you don't see it yet, hopefully you'll see it soon. Um, I'm an admin and I can see it, but my other admin team can't see it. That's probably related to that thing where if you're an owner, it's enabled for you to see this. But if you want everyone else to see it, you need to go to accounts and roles, and you need to go to the roles that you want to allow them to see it and update the financial section there. So there's a financials, and you need to set it to either full access or limited access and hit save. And they should be able to see it after that, because yeah, they limited it originally to owners only until we had those permissions in, because yeah, we didn't want showing everyone money and stuff that they may not want to see. Tanya's got a question. We've recently added a new support worker. An industry alert rules triggered alert pops up all the time, even when it's only a 4-hour shift. This isn't happening yet for any of our previously existing support workers. We've checked and she seems to be entered the same as everyone else. What's the alert? Are we talking about the SHADS alerts? And if so, what's the specific alert? But it could be related to, I know that is based on what, like, depending on what the alert is, it could be based on the, I think it's not even that. None of that really matters. I think it's the day worker or shift worker or other that plays a part in it. And then there's also like um, it does matter about the award levels. So are they on the SACS or the home care employee level? That does determine some of the rules that pop up. But I did do some work a couple of weeks ago about revamping the SHADS alerts because obviously they're not hugely accurate all the time, and there are some issues, particularly around the rest period between shifts of the day, like they finish the day before and then the next day it's popping up in some cases when it shouldn't be. I did a bunch of work on that, but I'm not sure whether that's been handed over or whether that'll get done before. Well, definitely won't get done before I leave, but whether that'll get passed on, hopefully someone will look at that because I did a whole revamp of the whole feature. It was going to be pretty cool, actually. So hopefully that gets picked up. How can carers message a client directly via the ShiftCare in-app? They generally message the client to confirm they are on their way. Yeah, at the moment you can't really do that. Not the carers anyway. You can send SMSs from the admin area. We have got the family portal app coming very soon. So the developers are just finishing that off. So instead of it being a website, it's going to be an app moving forward, which is really cool because that then gives us the option to do messaging through the family portal app because when it was a website, it wasn't really going to work that way. So I would imagine that you'll see that we'll have messaging through the family portal app. And if it's the client themselves, you probably can get them on the family portal app as their own login to the app. And then you'll be able to message. Yeah, so yeah, you can let them, like you can add them as a contact to have their own access to their own family portal. Um, um, so yeah, that's going to be good. Is this why clients cannot see the family portal, um, their roster? No, they should be able to still, like the existing family portal should still be working and functioning. If they're not able to see their roster, definitely, like if you've got them added, and yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to see that. So put through a support ticket if they can't. I'll keep going through the questions. We've got lots of questions. Um, I'm the account owner, so I should have access to costing stuff, but it says I'm admin and I can't change it. Um, if you can't see it, it's because it hasn't been rolled out yet to your account. So it's not live for everybody yet. So, and if you're the account owner, then that's definitely why. Um, I have issues with bulk approving timesheets every payroll. Is there a way I'm able to do this, or does each shift's timesheet need to be approved individually? It should be like you can do it in bulk per staff member, right? So you can go to each staff member, and you can click on their name, and then down the bottom you can go approve all, and you can choose clock in times or schedule times. Is that what you're having issues with? Is that not working? That should be working. I haven't had anyone reporting that, but that's the only way to bulk do it. Just be careful when you do that, that like when you load this page, I think it defaults to 10. So just be mindful of that because if they've done 15 shifts and you do this, it's only going to approve the 10 that it's looking at. And then you might think you've done it and go on your way. So just be careful that it's not going into the second page, but that one will definitely help. By the way, we did add a client signatures thing here. The first thing I told them is to have a way to hide that. So you can now hide that if that's not important to you. You can also hide the awake time if you don't do sleepovers. So have a look at that. How do I update prices to reflect the new price guide? Um, yeah, you go to account prices and you click on the update July 2026 prices. Just be mindful though, if you're doing any custom pricing, that it won't update. Like, well, and if you're using NDIS codes and you have your own separate pricing on two different price books, just be careful with that because it will update all codes that match. And also, if you do remote pricing or very remote pricing, you shouldn't use this automatic update button, because it will only update to the national regular pricing. So you can do a review manually if you want to do remote pricing and things like that. But if you just do normal pricing and you just have one price book per code, yeah, you just hit on update all. And of course, just the mandatory reminder that kilometers have always been notional pricing. It's charged in units of a dollar. I ended up just doing an update on everyone's account to turn on notional pricing. So you should have this set to notional pricing now. Everyone should have done that. In hindsight, I should have just done that before July the 1st. But now that's done, so that means that yes, you can charge more than a dollar. No, the limit on kilometers is not a dollar. Anyone that says that does not understand notional pricing, and you should hopefully all be getting your invoices paid now, because you're on notional pricing for kilometers. Yeah, update the self-managed manually. You can tick the ones that you want to update, and it should update. Why is ShiftCare defaulting our template titles to untitled? Is that shift templates? Like, do you mean like when I go here and go shift templates and then what new? Um, Forms. When you're creating a new one, it's just calling them untitled. I always forget to change. Whenever I play with forms, I always forget to change them, and I've got like a bunch of untitled ones because I never remember to change them. But yeah, it should. So yeah, whenever you create a new form, it says untitled. But if you do create one, it should save it as, yeah, it should keep the name. If it's playing up, let support know, but it does always put untitled. So we have a save template, and when we create a new form from that, it defaults to untitled. Yeah, I think like the new form always just defaults to untitled, I think. I don't know. Don't forget though that you can just copy existing forms now, because the concept of templates was back before we really had the duplicate function that we have now. So you don't really need a template. You can just duplicate the last version that you did, and I think it copies the name. No, it doesn't. Just puts untitled. Great. So yeah, good question. I thought it used to actually. Did it used to put the name in there? Maybe I'll let them know if I remember, or put it through to support. Can you give a bit of color as to what access people will have when invited to Family Portal? We're currently sending notes manually to a range of clients. Could this be an option instead of doing it manually? I just want to make sure I understand that they can see before granting this access and costs involved. So costs involved, it's included in the premium plan, so there's no extra fee for Family Portal. In terms of what they can see, if you turn it on to say that they can see progress notes, and they can see all progress notes, there isn't like a vetting of notes to say I want this note to show on Family Portal or this note. It is all notes. So if that's not something that you're comfortable with, then you probably wouldn't want to show that to the Family Portal user. Um, Example, break between clients. Yeah, the 10-hour rest period. That's one that's coming up all the time, Tanya. Unfortunately, they do need to look at that. That's there's some reason why I can't remember why, but there's a reason why that's popping up when it shouldn't be. Um, yeah, Kylie, let them know about that. Let support know. Notional pricing changes the amount of kilometers charged. How can we stay compliant with that? Notional pricing doesn't change the amount of kilometers charged, nor does it change the price that you're charging. So if you've got it set to $1.02 in your price guide, in your price books, it won't change that. what it does is it changes the units that it shows in on the invoice. So it just moves numbers around. So yeah, if you had 100 kilometers and you were charging $1.02, then that's $102. So instead of showing 100 times 102, it shows 102 times 1, which is the same amount of dollars and the same number of kilometers. It's just showing it in a different way. So yeah, you are compliant by leaving it as notional pricing. Any information regarding ShiftCare Academy and certificates, does ShiftCare provide the training? Um, so with ShiftCare certifications and stuff, just email cs@shiftcare.com and someone will be able to be in contact with you and show you how it works and run you through it and what you can do with that. Definitely can do it. Take us through the HR features real quick. There is zero chance I'm going to show you guys HR. I have no idea what's working and what's not working with that. They do have a webinar coming up though. Like they're going to announce the dates and start sharing that out. So I think it's a couple of weeks away. So definitely wait for that to look at ShiftCare HR. I think you guys have access to it now. I think they did open it up, but I would definitely take it as sort of early access right now. It's free at the moment, right? So you can jump in and have a look at it and see what you think. In setting up shifts with advanced mileage on, in selecting price books in the invoice settings within the shift, why is it not showing all the price books available, which we have added in our prices settings? And why is the price book for the travel time cannot be changed? So the reason in advanced mileage and in the invoice settings, it will only show you price books that have a code and a price for that specific type of travel. So when you go into a shift and you go advanced edit, and let's say I put a client on the shift, and then you've got invoice settings down here. Now, when I drop this list down, it's not going to show me every price book that's in the system. It's only going to show me every price book that's in the system that has provide a travel code and dollar amount in it. So the answer is that you need to make sure that the price books have a dollar amount and a code in it. Now, when I did the price guide, it it has the ones that have that, but the common scenario of this that people struggle with is like um, prices that don't like there's price books in the system that don't have um, activity-based transport, for example, assistance in self-care activities. There is no activity-based transport code because the NDIS just doesn't have one. It doesn't consider that you can charge kilometers under there is no reference code for in-shift travel because it's supposed to be assistance in self-care at home. So there is no default code for that. But if you have determined and you have a service agreement with the client and you've agreed that you're going to use community access transport code, then you're welcome to either edit the price book and put the code in here, but do be mindful that that will be with a code that's used for all clients, not just the one that you're talking to. Otherwise, you can on the shift choose the actual price book being the community access price book because that's the code, the provider travel or activity-based transport code that you're using. Why is the price book for travel time can't be changed? Look, that was a limitation of the advanced mileage that we had back when we first created that system. They are currently working. I did a webinar recently on kilometers, and they are currently working on an update for travel, which is super exciting. It's got a bunch of really awesome features, and one of them is that you will be able to change that price book. So, a couple of weeks away. Tanya says hopefully doesn't affect pays. No, it doesn't. The SHADS alerts in ShiftCare are just alerts for the rostering team. It's it's designed. It was designed to be like, oh, I better not do that, or I better change that shift. But it doesn't talk to any other system to put that price range through. Sorry, late to the party. Invoices are raised in ShiftCare to the plan manager, and then during export to I was sending it in a completely different provider. Why would that be happening? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, with MyOb, it depends which version of our MyOb integration you're using. If it's the direct version, it should be linking the client by the email address and the name. It depends whether you're clicking. There is an option when you're exporting to Zero or MyOb. It's the same for both. Doesn't look like I've got MyOb in on this one, but there is an option when you're exporting exporting invoices. There's like a tick box that says invoice to the billing name. Just be really mindful of that because it doesn't go against the client's name, it goes against the plan manager's name. But having said that, you're saying that it's going to the wrong provider. That seems really strange to me, unless it was originally on a different provider and now you've changed the provider. What you can do is you can go to manage clients and you can disconnect that client and just leave it disconnected and then resend the invoice and it should go to the right one then. It could be that it was previously connected to a different provider and you were ticking that tick box. There's a lot of different things there. So maybe if this tried the manage clients and disconnecting it and then resend it again, if that doesn't fix it, talk to support and get it escalated if you need it. Sorry, I think my queue got missed. Is there an option to, yes, it did, I remember now. Is there an option to set the shift 2 to 1, two support workers to one participant for billing reasons instead of duplicating shifts? Some plan managers request setting it to 2 to 1 so the cost only duplicates rather than the duplicate shifts. So you don't have to do duplicate shifts, but you do have to do them as separate lines. The reason for that is that yeah, it's interesting that you said that the plan manager are requesting to seeing it as 2 to 1, but um, really, the most plan managers will not pay a shift if you put 2 to 1 on the same line. So we used to allow you to put 2 to 1, like this had a 2 number here. We had to stop doing that because so many people were getting rejected claims, and that's because you're not allowed to claim on a single line a unit price above the maximum price. So if it's $70 an hour and you're putting 2 to 1, 1 hour of $140, they won't pay it because it's above the line. So what it will do, what you can do here is instead of creating two shifts, you can just split out the client and put the same time twice on a 1 to 1, and 1 to 1 plus 1 to 1 is 2 to 1. And so you just put it'll show the two line items. But yeah, that's compliant. Um, cool. Yeah, it was. We originally did it, but I just spent half my days having people contacting me saying that they couldn't get paid for it, so I just got them to remove it. Notional pricing. We charge $1.05 per kilometer. When it's pushed into zero, 50 kilometers becomes 50.25 at $1, meaning the claimed kilometers was 52.5, not 50. No, that's not what that means. It just means that you're charging 52 units of $1. Because you're charging $1.05 per kilometer, you're still charging 50 kilometers. So yeah, it's just that the units are changed. But you'll find that the what we did with the change on the weekend and we put everyone to notional pricing is that on the description it now says how many kilometers and how many units are in the description, like what you're charging per unit, and then the line item unit and cost is still notional, which is 52.5 times $1. So yeah, so again, that's not saying to them that it's 52.5 kilometers. It's saying it's 52.5 units of $1. Um, I don't know why the NDIS has a concept of notional pricing. It's so confusing, and it's just no reason for it. I have no idea why they set it up like that. But yeah, it's painful. I know how to put on ShiftCare a sleepover allowance, but when we invoice the sleepover allowance, the system is allocating total hours of the duration sleepover as working hours rather than allowance. Yes, Louis, that's actually my fault. I didn't realize, and I didn't find out until yesterday, so I don't know how they didn't get put through to me. But some of the price books that I created for the new price guide, they were set to hourly instead of a fixed rate. And so that's how that's come in to people. So I think a lot of people weren't affected because they already had the price box in the system and it just updated the dollar amounts. But for anyone that was creating a new price book, it was creating it as an hourly price book and also didn't have Saturday, Sunday, or public holiday on them. I have fixed that up. I fixed that up yesterday. So all the price books are correct now. But yeah, there's a good chance that the price book isn't right in your system. If you are having that issue with the price book showing as hours instead of just a fixed price, what you need to do is just go into the price book. You essentially want it to look like this when you're finished. I'll see if there's one that's not like that, just so you can see what it was before. I don't think I do have one anymore. But essentially, what you'll find is that yours doesn't say fixed price here, and it only has one line like that. So what you want to do is you want to click on the pencil, and you want to tick fixed price only. That's going to change it to a fixed price price book. And then what you also want to do is click on edit here, and you want to hit the oh man, I don't know why that's doing that. I do know why it's doing that, but they're fixing that as well. The icons are going a bit weird. If you hit on edit, you can hit the copy button 3 times so that it creates 3 versions of the same line, and then just put Saturday, Sunday, and public holiday so that you want it to be like that, essentially. That's my fault. Apologies for that. But hopefully that should sort you out. Is there any way to assign first aid allowance to only one staff member in a group program with multiple staff? Each group program throughout the week has a different staff member assigned to first aid, so unable to set it as a default payment via the staff profile, connecting with Employment Hero. Heidi, I think the default rule set with Employment Hero relies on you having a tag on the staff member's profile, but then it will apply it to all their shifts. And what you're really talking about there is actually what I believe to be the actual use case of first aid allowance, is that you only have to pay it when the staff member is an assigned first aid officer on a shift that has multiple staff, and they would need to provide first aid to a staff member, not to a client. So what you described there is a good use case of the first aid allowance under the SHADS award. I think the only way that you would be able to do that is to look at your rule set. I was just talking to Paycat yesterday about this. You essentially need to create an allowance called first aid allowance that it overrides hours, and then you have a work type in Employment Hero that's called first aid allowance, and it will then base it on a rule. I think that actually is a rule already in there. So it then stops using the tags and uses any shift that you set. So you put the allowance on the shift, and then it will send it as a first aid allowance shift, and it will pay both the regular rate for the shift plus the first aid allowance. Let me just show you. And again, I'm sort of working on a theory here, so you might have to test it, but you add a new allowance called first aid officer. And you put the type as override pay items, actually. Sorry, it's override pay items. And then you can put first aid as a category if you want. And then when you're mapping that in your payroll, you will map that allowance to, there should be a first aid officer work type. Try that. That should hopefully work. But if it doesn't work, you'll need to talk to Employment Hero just to check your rule set, stuff like that. But that should work. Yeah, they should be sending a copy of the recording out. So hopefully you'll get that. Hi, Kelly. I am super struggling to keep up with everything. Like I'm finishing up at ShiftCare next week, and I'm in a position where I just can't keep up with the number of people that want to talk to me personally. I would, even if your escalated inquiry is not being completed, the only thing I can suggest at this stage is continue to ask the support team to escalate that you need assistance, you can also email cs@shiftcare.com. Look, I'm happy for you to email me, and I would love to help you. And I genuinely, I think you all know that I genuinely care about all you guys and want to help as much as I can. But I just don't have enough hours in the day with how many things are coming through to me at the moment. I'm trying to hand over all my work to somebody, and I don't even know how I'm going to do that because there's so many things that I do. But do send me an email if you like. It's paul@shiftcare.com. I just can't guarantee that I'll be able to get the time to help you, but I will try. So send me through and let me know, even if it's a quick thing that I can, give you a quick answer or something that I can give you an idea of what I would do in that situation. I'll try my best. Um, cool. Anyone else got any questions? We've run out of questions. This is the last webinar, and I don't think they're doing the product update webinar next week, and I don't think they're doing this spotlight webinar ongoing anymore. I just don't think they have anyone internally to run these webinars. Um, I was pretty much, I sort of just said I want to do a webinar, and I was the one that started doing these webinars. So sorry, did you answer this question? Is there a way to limit staff access to clients they only provide supports to? All staff seem to be able to access all clients' information despite not being on their care teams. Um, is that in the admin area, like in the back office? So we're talking about like people that are on ops roles or coordinator roles or admin roles, or are you talking about carers on the app? Because carers on the app shouldn't they should only be able to see staff, the clients that they're rostered to, like for shifts that they're on. Um, but office staff generally, yes, they can see everything, any of those roles. But you can now go into roles. So go into account and then roles, and then if you go to roles here, so let's say that you've got a coordinator role, and that you do want them to only be managing the staff that they work with or the clients that they work with or the staff that they work with. You can do both. You can then, actually, staff, no, staff is coming soon, I think. But client, you can come here and you can say, like, it's this first setting with like manage clients is like team based. So it's like, okay, you can only manage clients and see clients that are related to the team, that like a team that you're on. You have to be in a team that client's also in the team. And also the scheduler has that now too, which is really good. So you can do team based and say only see the clients and staff that you're in a team, only see their shifts. Um, I really like the scheduler settings as well because you can turn off them able to delete shifts and things like that as well, which is good because that's a problem that I see a lot is that people start deleting stuff. Um, Yeah, it will be a bit of a struggle with keeping up with feature releases and stuff moving forward. These webinars were, but that's why I wanted to do these because I felt like it was the easiest way to tell everyone what's going on and to just have. And I'm a bit of an open book kind of guy. I'd rather have a chat and say, well, what's going on? What are the problems? Tell us what's happening and talk about it openly. But yeah, I think time is going to be an issue for them and doing all that. Um, Yeah, have a as they cannot message clients in the app. Yeah, have a look, Tracy, in terms of like those permissions I just showed you. Hopefully that'll help on that side. Um, Thanks for all your kind words. I appreciate it. I am sad to be leaving. I do love my job and I love helping you guys, but I am going to be in the industry and I'm still going to hopefully I'll do webinars and all that kind of stuff. And I'd love to keep working with all of you and give you guys tools that you need and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll still be in touch. And I am going to be working closely with ShiftCare still in the future as well. Meg's just said where when we cancel a shift with charge, our scheduler still says that the staff was working the cancelled shift is booked for a new shift if a new shift falls within the same time. Yeah, so if you cancel a shift with charge and you leave the staff member on that shift, they're going to get paid for that shift. If you didn't like say you didn't give them another shift, they would get paid for that specific cancelled shift. And as they should, because you are not allowed to, this is something I get cranky about all the time, but you're not allowed under the NDIS price guides and under the rules, you're not allowed to charge for a shift to a client unless you had to pay the staff member for that shift and you weren't able to find them another shift to work on. Now, if you were able to find another shift, like you say there's a new shift that falls within the same time, that's great. You take them off the original shift. You don't cancel the shift as a cancel with charge. You cancel it as a cancel without charge because you're no longer allowed to charge the client for that shift, and then you put them on the shift that you found for them instead. Um, you can't use cancelled shift as an additional income for your business if it's no costs involved for that. But yeah, you should be able to take the staff member off the shift. Um, Hi, Paul. What is the easiest way to find out if a support worker has had a service with a client in the past? E.g., yesterday, couldn't remember if the staff was with a client last year, so I had to scroll all the months back to check if it was May 2026. Am I missing another way? Yeah, what's the easiest way to find a support worker who's had a service with a client in the past? Yeah, look, I think all the months to check. Yeah, it's a good question. I think you could the only fastest way I can think of that is like you could export out but by the time you get the export out and click it, you probably could just go through the scheduler. You could put the scheduler in monthly view, filter it by the staff member and the client, and then just go back month by month. I don't think there is a quicker way to do that off the top of my head. Um, it will be good, when we have these in-app AI, you'll be able to say to it, hey, when was the last time that Joe worked with whatever? And it'll be able to do that. So they're working on that still, and that's coming soon. So yeah. Is there a way to give one person on the family portal access to shift notes, but not the rest of the participants? Yeah, so you do have like global settings, and that'll be for every new person that you add onto family portal. But you can, when you're adding a specific contact onto family portal, you can say, hey, this one can see shift notes and not the rest of the contacts. So yes. Yeah, doing it through the calendar. Yeah, I think that's probably the fastest way currently, unfortunately. Um, Paul, where are you going? I'm doing my own consulting business and automation and AI stuff, and working on some tools and things like that. And yeah, essentially new onboarding customers that may be starting with ShiftCare that want, a expert onboarder like me. They might pay me to do their onboarding instead of paying someone else. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Going to be involved in ShiftCare a lot, and I think I want to get a bit more deeper into the NDIS and learning the system a bit more. So give me a bit of time to do that as well. Just get a bit of time. I was working 15, 16 hours a day for the last 2 months, so it's getting a bit burnt out. So yeah, looking forward to slowing down a little bit. Been sleeping a lot this week actually. Are you developing a way to notify when a staff member has not completed their shift notes? We currently use an Excel spreadsheet to monitor this. Um, ShiftCare does have a way to kind of know that, and you can do that through the MCP through AI really easily to know that. Otherwise, you can. There's a couple of tools that ShiftCare has. You can go to the scheduler. You can go to uh, monthly, and you can change the filter to say, I want to see others where it doesn't have progress notes, and you'll be able to only see shifts that haven't had progress notes filled out on them for that month. So that's a really handy way to do that. Um, what else? Yeah, otherwise, yeah, I would do it through the MCP. I'm big on AI, so that's how I would do it. What about late cancellation? Can the client be charged? Again, it's the same sort of thing, Sakti. How are you, by the way? Hope you're well. You can charge the policy says that yes, there's a certain number of days that you can charge a client, but it's always on the condition that you were unable to find other paid work for the staff member that was rostered and that you had to pay them for the shift. So if it was a casual staff member and they cancelled the shift 4 hours before the shift, and you just said to the staff member, hey, your casual shift's cancelled, I'm not paying you anything, then you can't charge the client for that because there's no cost to you. So yeah, you can only charge the client if you had to pay the staff member and you're unable to find other paid work for them to do. It's written in the price guide, the PAPL. There is no PAPL this year, but it's in last year's one. Last question, why some shifts automatically picked up kilometers traveled, although we've not put any cap or limit? I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. Do reach out to support if that's happening. Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, I know. I have a habit of getting too in deep, so I'm going to try and limit myself and set myself some goals and see how I go. But I think to start with, I'll take it a bit easy because I'm a little bit burnt out. But see, I'm sleeping a lot at the moment. Um, that's it. That's everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm super proud of this, even these webinars. We went from, 5 to 10 people coming every week to like over 100 now. So it's been lovely. And thank you to everyone for the amazing people that use ShiftCare and the providers. I really, really appreciate you guys and love helping you guys do what you do. So do stay in contact. It's not goodbye forever, hopefully. Hit me up on LinkedIn or look at my consulting work. And like, even if, at the end of the day, like even with ShiftCare, I don't get paid for the 15 hours I do. I get paid for 8 hours a day, and I do it because I love it and I love helping you guys. So even if you reach out to me, if you can't afford to pay me for something, just still talk to me. If I can help, I can help. And, I'll do what I can. And I'm trying to build tools that everyone can share and we can all work together and do everything. So thank you all. I appreciate you all. Take care.